Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Wonderful to have all of you with us again at Namaste, the experience of Namaste, which simply means that the light or the Christ, the beloved within me, honors the same within you. And that is what we are here for. It's the only reason we're here. Not only in this moment, but in this world, at this time. What else could there be but to honor the light, the Christ, the beloved within each other and everywhere? It's that experience of everywhere at once, the experience of that we're here to allow, the experience of everything at once. Not something that we can understand with our minds. We don't need to even try. But something that has always understood us and which we can allow to be understood within us. That's it. So this morning, we're going to start off with a song. It's one that some of you might find familiar, but this was ringing in my head and in my heart today. So I thought we would use this as an opening meditation. Turn to me, turn to me, and I will lead you home. There's nowhere left for you to go. Just turn to me, you are not alone. I'll be your island when the wind blows strong, a safe place from the storm, your true protection. When the night is long, I'll be there to keep you warm, to keep you warm. Turn to me, just turn to me, and I will give you rest. There's nowhere left for you to go, baby. Just turn to me, and I'll do my best to be your shelter when the wind blows strong, a safe place from the storm. I'll never leave you. The night is long. I'm there right now, and it's where I'll stay. It's where I'll stay. Just turn to me, turn to me, and I will lead you home. There's nowhere left for you to go. Just turn to me, you are not alone. You are not alone. No, you are not alone. Just turn to me, turn to me. I love the simplicity of that song. Turn to me, just turn to me in everything. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to remember, is have your heart always turning toward that source of love. However you define that, whatever you call that, that source of love that we can turn toward in every moment. And in doing so, receive everything. So this lesson today is about everything. It's about receiving everything, allowing everything, because everything is within us. And we have been the living, breathing, walking denial of that for a very long time. We have been the affirmation of some things, but not everything. But now we know the truth, that everything is flowing through and as me. If I would but allow, if I would but open, if I would but turn to love in every moment. It's the only reason that there's left. The only thing that there's left to do, turn toward love. So I want to share this morning's lesson to allow us to feel this even deeper. And as I said before, this is really about, once again, the awakening of everything, of the oneness, of the wholeness. I mean, we use that word whole. I am whole, I am complete. That's just another way of saying that everything is whole and complete within me right now. So let's see if you can feel that. As always, don't try to interpret or to understand these words intellectually, because you won't. You can't. The mind that you use for such things was made not to understand. The eyes that you think that you see with were made not to see what is true. So just lay all of those things aside and just open up your heart and let these words sing to your soul, which already knows, which already understands. The nature of my being includes the nature of all being. Another way of expressing this would be to say, that which is forever whole excludes nothing. That which is forever whole excludes nothing. As always, don't try to understand these thoughts with your mind, but simply allow them to rest in your heart. These words, the nature of my being includes the nature of all being. The nature of my being, my with the capital M, B with the capital B. The nature of my being includes the nature of all being. And that which is forever whole excludes nothing. That which is forever whole excludes nothing. See if you can feel that. Just take a deep breath. Just welcome it. You don't need to do anything with that other than to welcome the vibration of those words. As you say these words aloud, you may feel something stirring within you, like an unborn child responding to its mother's voice. Do you understand what is happening? It is you, the unborn truth of you, responding to your own voice. The you I perceive has never been born and will never die, and that is why I know we are one. You are in my mind, and my mind is forever yours. There's nothing you can do but claim this because it is true. There's nothing that you need to do but claim this because it is the truth. Until now, you've tried to claim what is not and could never be true. That you are isolated, separate and alone. And this is what has brought you such unneeded sorrow. God is all-inclusive, and therefore is forever whole. If this is true, and I assure you that it is true, then you must be included. If nothing is excluded from the love of God, then you must be loved and lovable. Once again, if nothing is excluded from the love of God, then you must be loved and you must be lovable. There is no other choice. All I am asking you to do is to deny anything that seems to oppose this truth, to deny anything that seems to assert that you are not lovable, that you are not loved, that love is not everywhere, love is not every moment. Just disregard it completely. God has never denied you, but you have tried to deny God, and thankfully you failed. Let your greatest failure be your ultimate success. Then your mind will turn back toward what has always been true, and the experience of that truth will fall naturally into place. So once again, the nature of my being includes the nature of all being. There's nothing outside of that nature. But we have to claim that. At least in our minds. The truth is, it is always claimed within the truth of that I am experience, or what we might call our soul. It has never been denied or been left unclaimed by that. But we have chosen somehow, for some reason, God knows why, to turn away, to see if there was another possibility, other than everything. But there is no possibility other than everything. Everything is everything. And so the attempt to find something other than was silly at worst. I think that's, if what we want to call God has any sort of sense of humor, which I think probably is true, it would consider it just silly. Okay, go ahead. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but go ahead. Give it a good go, but I promise you that you're going to come back to this, because this is all there is. It's inevitable. You can't stay away forever. And here we are, we find ourselves together with an opportunity to do just this, to claim that which has always been true, to hold that which has always been held, to love that which has always been loved. It's so easy, really. We just have to lay down our sword, the sword that we use to defend that which has no real substance, that which needs no real defending, the identity that we try to defend and say, no, this is who I am. But has it ever given you what you want? All I'm saying, and all anything is really saying, any moment, is that there's no need to defend it. Just allow grace to flood into your heart and let it do its work. I promise you, it will do a lot better job than you or me or anyone else. Once again, it comes back to that river and that current. The current knows where it's going. The current knows where it's taking you. You just need to surrender to it. You just need to get in your boat and just let it go, or just jump in and be fully immersed. Even better. But if we stand on the edge, just looking at the river, theorizing and wondering, and which is what we do in perception. We build theologies and philosophies to try to understand that which is ununderstandable by the intellectual mind, but that which has understood us from the beginning. Just dive in. Dive in. Let the current take you. That's all we really say here every day, is let the experience take you. When you dive into a fast river, you're not thinking in the same way that you might be if you were standing at the edge of the river. There really is no thought. There's just flow. So let's take a deep breath before we move on. And close your eyes if you can. And see if you can sense, feel, notice that flow within you. If you can feel something pulling or drawing you, tune in just for a moment. See if you notice a feeling or a yearning or a longing that is pulling you in to the experience of unfettered grace. And when you feel that, when you sense that, just say yes. Yes. This is the only thing I want. If you can get to the point where you can say with complete honesty, this is the only thing I want. There is no other desire other than this. That's the diving in. That's the current taking you. When you realize there's nothing in this world that I really want, but this current will take me to where I am and always will be. Take one more deep breath and just welcome that feeling. And say thank you. Make sure you always end an experience like this with gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this blessing. Thank you for this community, this family of light. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Vicky for a moment and see what inspires you around this and bring it back to the practical nature of being.
Here we go, Jimmy. Jimmy, this is great. This is great that you're doing this a couple days before you go into the anchor mode, because this is the opportunity to leave the edge and literally live in the flow. So I was looking at the word claim. How do we claim this experience other than to open to it by jumping in the river? And then I looked at, well, what isn't claiming it? It isn't claiming it if I'm thinking about it, if I'm looking at situations and figuring them out, if I'm in perception judging anything, right or wrong, good or bad. Right or wrong, that's such a good hook for so many of us, still for all of us. It's so tempting to want to be right instead of to say, oh no, right or wrong, I'm in perception, I'm standing on the edge. Forget it, I'm going to jump in. So let me jump into the river, or at least into the boat. Let me at least get in the boat and let, this is the big word, let, L-E-T, and let the answers come. Let the unfolding of healing come through us, and let us witness it, because we're being still and quiet instead of thinking and judging and being right or wrong or solving. Allow. That's it, Teddy. Allow, allow, allow. But that is the action point right there. Stand on the edge and have a grievance or have a situation that you want your way in, or you want to fix or solve. That's the edge. It's so simple to see. And it's not like you have to sacrifice all those things, but the way to them isn't through the perception of them. The way to the solution of true healing is through letting the perception go, jumping into silence. What's the boat? The boat is silence. And what's the action in the boat? Receptivity, letting, allowing, just like you said, Teddy, allowing. letting the grace of the Holy Spirit somehow heal my own mind from any thoughts that I could possibly be on an edge, standing outside of what is all encompassing. That in itself is the error that gets corrected when I put my willingness and my whole attention onto allowing the flow of grace, that current of grace, to come and have its way with me, literally, by not thinking, not figuring, not saying yay or nay, but by silence, by resting in God's name, by feeling God's love, not by thinking about it, not by reading about it, but simply falling into, resting into it, feeling into it, and have the joy and the knowing to let it take its own time, whatever form it takes, so be it. The only form that we need, or I need to be mindful of, is that I am in the flow of grace, that current, that I've jumped into the river on my own, with a life jacket, with a boat, doesn't matter, just get in the river. Get off the edge. The edge is what perception is. Right or wrong, good or bad, that's all that is. And claiming it is simply, I am the living Christ. How do I know that? Well, let's see. I'll just jump in now and I'll let the flow take me. And I'll welcome everything, because I have no order anymore. There's no order because there's no perception saying high, low, good, bad. It's just, oh, I don't know. Let's see how it pulls together, how it's supposed to come together by grace. And then it's a miraculous surprise. There's no order of difficulty in error and in correction, no order of difficulty. And the only action point is my willingness to let grace, let the light in me lead me. Follow the yellow brick road again. Get in the boat. Just get in the boat and float. Give up the judgment, give up the thinking, let it go. That's claiming error. That's claiming separation. That's claiming imagination. Let's claim reality. Let's claim light. Let's claim it, because together, and claiming it and living in that light and the knowing of it, we are grounding that light here in time and space, where it will cease to be separate states of heaven and earth. That's our job here, to close all things of time. And we do that in every instant. When we're tempted to jump into battle, and instead throw down your sword, just throw them down and jump in the boat. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yep. I don't know what else to say. That was so beautiful. Just yes. That's when you get to the point where that's all that needs to be said. Yes, that's when I think you get it. Because there's nothing to add on to that. There's no and blah 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 blah. There's just yes, yes. Doesn't even matter what you say. I mean, it would still be yes if I allow that feeling. There's that word allow again. Just allow this to happen. Allow this to be true. It is. So allowing what is to be true is, it doesn't take a lot of work. It should be pretty effortless. Just dive in the river. You don't need to control the current. Just let it take you. Yes. Who else wants to share anything? Teddy, I see you out there. You want to share anything?
Well, the only thing I was thinking of the whole time, and it just went through my head about a million times, is I am God's son, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of his love. In me is creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. And there's no qualifiers to that. The job that we get in the Course in Miracles is to find the qualifiers in our mind and to admit that if one is true, the other cannot possibly be true. And that's the certainty that we receive as we follow the guidance and let what's true be true and let what is false have nothing to do with the truth, nor have any effect on it. If truth is total, if truth is whole, if truth is all there is, then the false does not exist except as a thought in our mind. And And the thoughts in our mind are what we're supposed to question, not the truth of who we are, which is eternal. And in that, that's the entire, every page of the book is offering us the ability to do that. Every lesson in the book is offering us the ability to do that. And every page in the manual for teachers is trying to help us learn how to teach that unequivocally without the necessity of anyone needing to feel guilty about something, because guilt does not exist. Now, the thing about guilt is it doesn't mean that you don't have a feeling or an experience of it. It means the experience is not what we think it means, which is, the totality of what we're asked to understand. It's like, just because we think it, it doesn't have the meaning that we give it. And the experience of guilt, when seen rightly, merely shows that we actually know what love is, or else we couldn't feel its opposite. We couldn't feel something opposite to love unless we actually knew what love is. And the idea that we say something is, we call it guilt as opposed to love, means that we must know what love is, or else we would have nothing, we wouldn't have be able to use the experience against love at all. So there's a certainty that's offered, and there's a certainty that we're asked to operate from, not because we have that certainty yet, but because it is the way it is. And somebody said today, this morning, about I've had visions, and somebody told me that I've become really sort of like it's like Jesus is the way, Christ is the way. There are many, many teachers, but the way is through our own Christhood. And at the point where we recognize Christ, that's where we're one. Everyone must go through that. And Jesus was the one who demonstrated the truth of that here, and as returns to us here in order for us to have the same experience. There's a line in the Course, and it discusses the idea that we're not to not pay attention to our brothers. We're not to not learn from our brothers. But the only thing that knows us truly is something that has gone through the experience that we have and see the totality of the falsity, and is willing to communicate that to us from beyond the space and time wherein which we find ourselves to be something other than whole, perfect, completely innocent, and created as one with all the brothers in reality. That's all I can say.
There you go. That's all you need to say.